commercial show, to me, is all about personality. Yes, of course, you've worked on your dancing, you're an amazing dancer, you're impressing them with that, but really, the thing that's really going to sing through on a great commercial show is personality. Interacting with people, having this kind of fun liveliness to you. You have to be a great dancer because you don't want to embarrass the customers. They want to feel proud that they have, oh yes, I've hired the best dancer, she's great. That's a given. Then it comes to personality. Are you playing with the guests? Are you amusing them? Are you doing cute little tricks and getting people to feel welcomed and comfortable? Kind of setting that whole tone of we're having a great fun party. Aside from being a good entertainer, the next thing that you can add in, another layer to it, is to have fantastical props. Big, huge candle tray, big wings. It gives them something to talk about. Something like, oh yeah, you hired that girl who had those great props and she had all these flashy things. So it gives them another thing to kind of latch onto and say, wow, she was really talented and really captivating and had that special something that makes you memorable over somebody else.
What makes a successful commercial performance? Well, I would like to say that it's extremely important to be a very, very good dancer and that it's all about the very good dancing. But realistically, I think a lot of times people don't really see your dancing that much, either because they just don't really have the education to appreciate it, or maybe they're just not belly dance fans, or more often, at least in New York City, a lot of times I have found myself working in places where I'm right on top of the audience, in between the tables, and so people aren't seeing your dancing because they can't see your dancing. You're right up there, right in with them. So it's still important to be a good dancer, but in that kind of a situation, I think what people really respond to more than anything else is an outgoing personality and just the general exoticism of belly dance as part of the evening. It is really important to be able to hold the attention of people with your dancing, but when you are right on top of them, I think that what you're doing is less about doing a show for them and more about doing a participatory event where everyone is sort of along for the ride and everyone is going to the same place. So it's less about your being the center of attention and more that you, the dancer, are there to put the audience in the center of your attention, that you're, it's almost like a hostessing job, that you're there to help them have a good time, to, relax. Part of the job is to relax people's inhibitions, help them forget about work, help them forget about whatever it is they have to do tomorrow, and just relax, cut loose, have fun. This is why I think there is so much emphasis on audience participation, because, if people can't see you dancing so much, there still has to be something going on, and when the audience participates, then again you have this idea of everybody participating and making this evening like a party. Something that happens a lot that I'm honestly not very good at is when people call you over and they want you to embarrass someone at the table. They're like, I want you to get him, get him. And this is very confusing to me, because I would think that when there is this, beautiful woman who is demonstrating this, skill that she spent years perfecting, you would not treat that like she's, the monster under the bed, but if, okay, you want me to get him, I'll get him, that's fine. Because, I do understand that sometimes you need to twist somebody's arm and that you get him, and then everybody is along for the ride. For these kinds of jobs, for me, I think it's helpful to think of it as less of a performance art and more actually as kind of like a pink service, not pink service, pink collar, like service work, like childcare, like nursing, some jobs in the beauty industry. Like these are really important jobs of caring for people, but they're not high status, and so to be motivated, you really have to have a lot of heart, and you have to believe in this idea of the importance of taking care of people. Belly dance is not traditionally, very respected. People think that you are a professional party girl, Sharmuta belly dancer, and it can be very frustrating. Or, I do find it very frustrating that I've invested so much in the dance and the artistry, and that's not always the thing that people see. But I have come to realize that I don't want to compound that by having this, attitude about being condescending towards service work, because it is so important to care for people. And this idea of the belly dancer, as someone who is facilitating entrance into the night, into mystery, into magic, into the Bacchanalian revel, I think is not frivolous at all. You are like a priestess, like a gatekeeper in this, boundary between the day and the night, and you transport people into this, magical realm. You get the people, you go and you get them, and you do this, boundary transgressing ritual on them, and then they are transported into this other experiential realm. And that's not so frivolous. That has its own dignity. So I don't want to tell people that they don't have to learn to dance. Please learn to dance. But the dancing is definitely not all of it, at least for a lot of venues. If people are your fans and they're there to see you in particular, that's a whole other thing. But when you're just the belly dancer, the dancing is important, but the hospitality is very, very important also.
A successful commercial show, really any show, once you take this dance out of your living room, you have to consider and be considerate of your audience. And when it's a commercial show, pleasing your audience that's your mandate. Because if you don't please that audience that's paying you to be there and to dance, by definition, you have failed to deliver a successful commercial show. What makes the audience happy? I always think of my very first agent who told me, look, the client wants to see a pretty girl in a shiny costume, swirling some veils and clicking some zills. You give them that, they're happy. And as a baby dancer, coming from a very culturally respectful and artistically oriented dance training background, I was horrified that she was reducing this great art of belly dance down to the lowest common denominator of what is universally appealing about belly dance. But now, from the perspective of, a couple of years and a whole lot of gigs, 100% I agree with that agent. She's right. Pretty girl, shiny costume, float your veils, clack your zills. This makes people happy. Most of the commercial shows that you do are for a festive occasion. It's family and friends getting together to celebrate something, and they are doing this in a social occasion, having a social event. These are not normally very sophisticated belly dance consumers. They really don't know a lot about the dance. They're not really qualified to judge your dance skills, and that's why that's really not part of the formula for a successful show. Frankly, I've known a number of very successful commercial dancers whose actual dance skills and maybe their breadth and their technique is moderate at best, mediocre at best. But that's not what this audience is looking for. Your commercial audience wants you to entertain them, they want you to engage them, and they want you to enhance whatever this festive celebratory occasion is that they're holding, that they're having, that they have hired you to be a part of. And in some ways, and I know some people are not going to be happy with me with this, one of the greatest assets you can have, it's great to be a good dancer. That's going to add layers of richness, being graceful. And they will notice if you're a terrible dancer. You can't fool all the people all the time. But what I have honestly found is if you have a good body. The better your body, because all humans, whether or not they know anything about belly dance, all humans seem to feel that they are qualified to judge each other's bodies. So if your body, rates at a certain level, well, they're going to be happy. And if you have clothed that nice body in a lovely, exotic costume that feeds this Orientalist fantasy, because we're essentially being hired to be, the dancing girl, then they're really happy. And if you can then combine that, obviously you have the attributes of a belly dancer, the veil in particular, the zills, maybe some other prop that you use. You combine that with an engaging personality, because this is really, really critical. You need to have a professional, calm demeanor, a problem-solving demeanor. You have to be flexible, you have to be versatile, so that the client feels very, very comfortable that you're on top of your game, you know what you're doing, you're going to deliver. But you also want to be empathetic, kind of gentle, gracious, that you're out there dancing, you're bringing them into the show, you're not being too aggressive, you're not scaring them off. You really have to read the crowd. I think people skills are just super important in delivering these successful commercial shows, because it's making them happy. This is not about you and your great artistry and your many views on the subject of belly dancing. It's here's the client, what are they doing, what do they want from you, give them what they want.
Everyone. Today we are going to stop by and visit another photo shoot. This time it's going to be with Sarah Skinner. For many of you, Sarah Skinner is going to be more familiar as a very, very well-known belly dancer. She's been dancing for many years in the New York area, has quite a few DVDs created, and she is very much in the classical American cabaret style of the dance. A very, very practiced dancer, very fluid, very graceful. A couple years ago, and I honestly don't remember how many years ago, Sarah started another sideline as a photographer specializing in belly dance.
Again, and smiles.
It's not like you're not busy. You're doing shows, you're dancing, you're teaching. Why would you want to start doing photography?
When I was little, I was doing photography with my dad. All through the Adirondacks, doing landscape photography, black and white, developing in the dark room, all that kind of wonderful kind of father-daughter bonding. He was an award-winning photographer and videographer, and just spending that time with him in the Adirondacks is something that I really loved doing. And then I moved to New York City and kind of lost the kind of outdoor landscape thing and thought, you know, I'm doing belly dancing. Why don't I go into the studio and capture something that I love and work with other belly dancers and play with their costumes and making them feel amazingly beautiful and just putting it all together. And just go scooch that way for me. Yeah. And feel nice and lifted.
As someone with a great deal of dance experience, as you are, and a very highly trained dancer, what do you feel is helping you? Like, is there something in all these years of experience as a dancer that you are able to then apply when you are on the other side of that camera, when you're the one taking the picture, like as you're posing the girls? What is helping you here?
Well, I definitely know about correct posture and when to hold things in. So being a teacher and an instructor, I can certainly correct people if they're thinking about 1,000,001 things. They're thinking about their smile, they're thinking about their pose, and I'm sitting there able to touch and correct just this little thing and giving them the feel of what they want to project as a dancer. Me also being in front of the camera and in back of the camera, I know what it feels like to be there trying to pose and trying to feel nervous, and you're not being a professional model. And so since I've been there,
Kind of put them at ease.
yeah, I've been on both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
And, make them feel relaxed, and because it's really hard modeling.
And people don't understand it, and I tell them, you are going to be so worn out at the end of the shoot, and drink water, be hydrated.
Yeah, and so, making them feel relaxed, understanding where they're coming from, and then being able to remind them, oh, hey, lift a little bit more, or point your toe, and let's capture this moment that I know that you do so well. If you could take the veil behind and having your hand prettily here, nice and pretty. And with this, we want to toss it up to the side and give a nice flick with the hand so we get a nice spray of color around you. Yeah. Excellent.
So as a dancer, and I think that perhaps this is helpful to you, is knowing when to click that shutter. That having worked with many photographers, as we both have, that's the trick with dance. When do you click? And do you feel that is helping you as well, these years of experience?
You know, I don't even think about it. It's so organic. Of course, you know, when they do this big flourish and that big moment, of course I'm gonna catch it. Like, I couldn't imagine not catching it, you know?
It does. It becomes instinctive for you, right? And I think that's the advantage of you as a dancer turning photographer is, where do I click? Okay, she's gonna do this. I can feel it building.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. The toss from front to back. So bringing the veil in front of you. And nice thing, so bringing the arms and straight down. And where I'm gonna take the picture is your hands being down. And what's different about when you normally belly dance, your arms are supposed to float down with your veil. I don't want that. So the photograph, it's very different. What I want is a wall of veil behind you. So your arms actually have to go faster. If you're doing it from here and you bringing it up, the veil doesn't splay open. So starting with it nice and open, the arms stay open and down. And see how it created that wall behind? And normally what we're supposed to do is your arms float down with it, but it doesn't make for a good photo. So let's give it a go. That was beautiful, do it again. See what happens? Okay. So we need to have it be more of a wall behind you, so faster. Do one where you keep your hand on your hip and then the other arm tosses it up. Oh, fantastic. That was great. Okay. And then rotate your chest towards me so we get the frontal. Okay, one more time. And twist more. There we go, perfect. And then go. Yeah.
Oh my God, so gorgeous. I never had veil photos. Ooh. This is so lovely. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thanks, Shala.
Shala is the owner of Silk Dancer. Silk Dancer obviously is about dyed silks, and Shala creates the most beautiful custom dyed silk veils, silk skirts, and fan veils. And I myself had the pleasure of working extensively with Shala, creating the fantastic custom fighting fish fan veils that I used in a fighting fish piece and performance.
I primarily work in silk, and I'm very interested in very bright, very deep colors. I dye rectangular veils in all kinds of custom sizes, standard 3-yard, 3.5, 4. I've done as long as 4.5. And I make some beautiful hand-dyed skirts. I work with fan veils. I hand construct them. Most of them are custom. Again, I'm interested in very bright colors, interesting details like these little flames that you can't get on the commercial veils, because I just want to do something different and bring something new to the industry. I work with large half circles and smaller half circles. The smaller half circles are a little bit heavier. They are really good for veil poi. They're very good for tying to the weights and spinning. They look beautiful, and they're a true half circle, so they really catch the air much better than a semicircle, which is like longer and a little bit shorter. And the beautiful large veils, which many times they look like butterfly wings as you fling them up.
How to pose with this thing. Yeah, and just pose it in. So lift it, and so be in the pose and just, yeah. This veil is tough.
Yeah.
This veil's tough.
I was trying to get the idea of like a tiger or animal, kind of, you know, trying to get the impressions of an animal. And this actually, I was thinking of a zebra. Didn't quite work as a zebra, but it's
costumes.
It's so interesting visually, and the edges are actually black, so it kind of frames the whole thing.
Christine Dempsey of Crimson Gypsy Designs, doing belly dance and yoga wear. Christine, also known as Willow, if you're familiar with her from the dance community. Very lovely, soft, stretchy fabrics, wonderful, rich colors. The type of foundation, garments that you use all the time for practice, and you dress them up for performance. And I will also say, on a personal level, she has some fabulous halter top dresses for everyday streetwear.
I make pants, tops, and skirts for Bellydance practice wear, and you can wear them to perform too. I've performed in these types of pants. So today I'm going to be showing ruffled capri pants. These are really adorable, and I love to teach in these because you can see the teacher's feet really well, but they also look great with nice, sexy high boots. Other pants that I have are these long, like what I'm wearing, long ruffled dance pants, which I feel they're like flamenco inspired. And I just love wearing them. They're just so much fun and flirty to wear. And I also have just general flare pants, pants with a wide flare at the bottom, which I like to wear for class or just to wear out, and then yoga pants with kind of more of a boot cut. And then I have several styles of tops. Oh, I like to put skirts with my little pants too, so, you know, cover all the necessary parts and make it all look pretty. Some circle skirts, and I call these the asymmetrical skirt. The point comes down over one leg. And then I have several styles of tops. I have my cross front tops, and this is just really beautiful, creates a gorgeous neckline. I do different sleeve lengths with these. I actually have several different sleeve styles. And I have halter tops here, which kind of laid out flat. They're not the most exciting thing, but when these are on people, they actually look really, really beautiful. So there's these. I have wrap tops, wrap around and tie. You could twist them or just cross them and tie them in the back. And I just really love all of these deep, rich jewel tones. This rust color, the purple. Purple's my favorite. I love burgundies and the deep greens here. So I think I have a nice selection of colors for people to choose from. Shrugs, these are new to my line. Nice long sleeve shrugs. They actually go across your back. And I have them in a shorter 3/4 length sleeve. You know, the winter's coming, so I definitely want to have longer sleeves. It's so glamorous to like sit at home and make things all the time. What a glamorous life, right?
I don't know whether or not you should tell your coworkers about Bellydance. In my very first professional job, or my first, long ago, I had a corporate job, and then I turned pro in Bellydance, and nobody knew, and no one found out until I did a morning news appearance. I was on the Fox 5 morning news, and I didn't think anybody watched the Fox News, but anyway, I went and I did this news appearance. It was very early. It was like 5 in the morning, and it wrapped up around 7, and then I went to work, and I got into work, and everybody was just looking appalled and snickering, and really, it was not good. I did not benefit from having been out of the closet or from having come out of the closet. The next job that I went to after that, I didn't want to repeat that experience. And so I told people coming in that I was an artist, and I use that term specifically, you know, I'm an artist. And I thought that everything would be okay, but also in that next job, things really weren't okay. I mean, I knew what I did. I didn't have any kind of compunction or shame about my career, but other people just had strange ideas. I don't know what it was that they thought that I was doing, but I was really treated in a very weird way. I made people very uncomfortable. So what I took away from these experiences is that if you have a job where you're uncomfortable telling people about your belly dance, or if you have a job where people know about your belly dance but they are made uncomfortable, it's it's not the right job for you. I mean, people have different situations, and you need to do whatever you do and whatever your financial situation and responsibilities are. Maybe that dictates that you have to make some sort of choice, but long term, I would say that whatever it is that you do to make your living, whatever your rent job is, it has to be something that's compatible with people knowing about your dance career, or you're going to be very unhappy.
My day job is actually very supportive of me as a performer and a dancer. This was not always the case. In my old job, when I worked in finance, I had to hide that I was a dancer and a performer. I had to hide my Facebook. I had to make sure that nobody ever found my website or saw me do anything anywhere. It was very much not something that would have been accepted. Now, my job, they're supportive of me as a dancer, they're supportive of me as a performer. They've come and they've seen my shows. They think that it's wonderful that I'm involved in the arts. The owner of my company has been very, very supportive. He's made suggestions as to, you know, perfumes that might work for different audiences. 7 Billion Hearts is a huge one because it's very vanilla and very girly, and it just smells nice. But it's been much better for me knowing that I don't have to hide my nightlife from my day life. It's made my life a lot easier. Compartmentalization was not very healthy for me in that aspect.
A very small handful of my current day job colleagues are aware of my belly dance career. And for the most part, this is people that I started on the job with because that kind of coincided with the expansion of my professional belly dance career. And I guess I was, flapping my lips a little bit more. And they've been great. They've been supportive. I think they find it, very, very amusing. However, my subsequent and prevailing policy on this question is total news blackout. No, I do not want my day job coworkers to have any idea, any notion about my professional belly dance persona. And part of this is simply a function of my personality. I am a very, very private person. I do not like people up in my business, not at all. And I really like my life to be kind of compartmentalized. I find it so much easier to maintain control and feel more organized. In terms of the job itself, my feeling is that at best, when my colleagues know that I'm a belly dancer, at best it's kind of an amusing diversion. It's like a novelty diversion. And at worst, honestly, I think it undermines my professional credibility and the rather serious nature of the work that I do. At very, very worst, heaven forbid, the students and parents ever found out about it, I feel it would totally erode my professional authority. And I wrap myself in authority. That is my cloak of armor. So, you weigh these disadvantages against what? What advantage? I'm going to get a handful more gigs. I know what my colleagues and I make, okay? I know what the budget for those gigs is. That's really not what I'm going after. Or some kind of appeasement of my vanity that more people know I'm a belly dancer. For me, it just didn't work out that way, and this is my choice. But this is a personal choice, my personality and my circumstances. I would not make the blanket statement, no, don't ever let your day job. No, there could be situations where it would be advantageous to you. What I would suggest, and I always kind of suggest the same thing, is be thoughtful and be cautious. Especially in this modern world of social media and interconnectedness, once you put information out there, you can't control it. You can't take it back, and you don't know where it's going to go. You might only work at this particular job for another year, but you're connected on Facebook to people at this job. You move on, you're still connected on Facebook, and they have this window into your life. So I would urge people to weigh the potential advantages of letting your day job know, weigh the disadvantages, not just for right now, but in the future, and make your decision accordingly.